Welcome back to another episode of the Constructive Liberty Podcast. Today is Wednesday, March the 3rd, 2021, and this is episode number 28. Today, I want to share with you 30 rules for life that I've compiled. These are not all original with me. I've put my own little spin on some of them, but they're high quality rules that if you apply these in your everyday life, you live by them and let them help you become who you are meant to be. Let them become a part of you. Life will go so much smoother. Success will come more naturally to you if you follow these rules for life. I want to start off with a quote of the day, and who better to quote than the man who wrote the book, 12 Rules for Life, Jordan Peterson. He said, "You are by no means only what you already know. You are also all that which you could know if you only would. Thus, you should never sacrifice what you could be for what you already are. You should never give up the better that resides within for the security that you already have, and certainly not when you have already caught a glimpse, an undeniable glimpse of something beyond." So be all who you were meant to be. Before I jump into the 30 rules for life that I've compiled, though, I want to share with you an opportunity that I've come up with and decided to throw out there. Now, I'm in construction, and so a lot of the work that I do, not the physical work, but a lot of my time gets spent doing takeoffs and creating estimates for potential customers. And those things are very time consuming, and not everybody can do those. So my thought is to offer a takeoff service or creating a material list for people who like to DIY but don't know where to start with what materials they need and how to go about building from the ground up. So I've got years and years of experience doing this. I've been in construction my whole life. From the time I was about 4 or 5, I was going out on the construction crew with my dad. So everything that I know, my whole work career has been around the construction industry. So I thought if anybody is interested, I wanted to throw it out there to you guys first to offer that takeoff service. Now, to my listeners of the podcast, I will offer the first 5 people a free takeoff. Now, this is not going to be for a whole house or something, but for a small project, up to an hour's worth of labor. I'm probably going to, when I offer this to the general public, it'll probably run about $75 an hour service. But to the first 5 people who respond, who would be interested in this service, I'm going to offer that for free. And I'll drop a link in the show notes where you can book a call if you're interested, and we can talk about your project and get that rolling, because I know a lot of people these days want to do stuff yourself. You're either building a homestead, or maybe you're living on a tight budget and you want to build your own storage shed or your own garage or carport. I'll do that takeoff for you. I'm happy to do that. I do that a lot anyway. So it's not going to take me nearly as much time as it will take a lot of people. So let's have that conversation. Check the show notes for the link where you can book a call with me to discuss your project. Let's jump right into the 30 rules for life. And as always, with a rule for life, the rule isn't necessarily the rule, but it's a principle behind it, if that makes any sense. So, rule number 1, never shake a person's hand sitting down. So always, when somebody walks into the room, it's a sign of respect to stand up and to greet them, to shake their hand. It puts you both on equal footing. If you stay sitting, that sends the message that I'm more important than you. So never shake a person's hand sitting down. Number 2, learn how to cook a signature dish. Number 3, spend at least 30 minutes a day on personal development. That might be watching a video to teach you something. It might be reading a book or working with a mentor, or maybe just doing deep work on yourself going into thoughts and the processes and how you can improve your own life. Number 4, in a negotiation, never make the first offer. I've experienced this many, many times where, say for instance, in a pawn shop. I love pawn shopping. So you go in there and the prices that they have marked on their items are crazy expensive. You know they're never going to get that. It's higher than even a new item of the same thing would be. And so you're like, hey, what's your offer on this? They're like, oh, make me an offer. Well, most people don't want to lowball for fear of upsetting the other person, so they might offer something that's a lot higher than the pawn shop owner would have offered. So in a negotiation, never make the first offer. Number 6, request the late checkout. When you're on vacation, take time to enjoy life. Stay around and do more relaxation work. Relaxation is so hard because we're always pushing to do the next thing, and it's almost to the point, at least for myself a lot of times, where I can't wait to get through this thing so that I can go into the next thing, and I don't soak up all the value that I can out of this thing. So take time to enjoy the now. Request the late checkout. Number 7, when entrusted with a secret, keep it. So many people cannot keep a secret to save their life. There's people that I can name right now I would not tell anything to that I didn't want someone else to find out. And I especially wouldn't tell that person, don't tell this other person this thing. I'm trusting you with it, because they would turn right around and go tell that person. So don't be that guy. If somebody entrusts you with a secret, keep it. Number 8, hold your heroes to a higher standard. I'm going to move quickly through some of these. I may do a little commentary on some of them, but for the most part, I'm just going to read on down through. Number 9, when you borrow a car, return it with a full tank of gas. Number 10, play with passion or don't play at all. Throw yourself into whatever it is that you're doing. Do it to the best of your ability. The Bible says, whatever you do, do it like you're doing it for God. Do it with all the skill and the passion and the creativity that God gave you. He designed you and gave you those tools to use. So use them completely. 11, when shaking hands, grip firmly and look them in the eye. That humanizes you. It creates a connection and says, I'm here for you. I got you. We're equals. Number 12, don't let a wishbone grow where a backbone should be. Stand up for what's right. 13, be like a duck. Remain calm on the surface and paddle like crazy underneath. 14, experience the serenity of traveling alone. It doesn't just have to be traveling, but taking alone time, doing a deep dive into your thoughts and considering where you're at in life and where you want to go. Consider your actions. Where were we at here? I had a little audio glitch and had to re-record a little bit of that. Number 15, never be afraid to ask out the best-looking girl in the room. And this is so much more than just dating advice. But when you're looking for a job promotion or whatever you're seeking, don't be afraid to ask for the best. Go after it, because that sets the tone for everything that follows. If you set your expectations low, you're sure to meet those expectations. All right, number 16, never turn down a breath mint, because if you're offered a breath mint, you might have bad breath. Number 17, try writing your own eulogy and never stop revising it. Where I go with this is live life in such a way that when someone else writes your eulogy, people just sit back in awe and are like, wow, this was an amazing human being. The things they did in life and the things they did for other people, absolutely amazing. So always be writing and revising your own eulogy. Number 18, after writing an angry email or text or whatever kind of message it is, read it carefully and then delete it. Do not press send. Number 19, ask your mom to play the game with you, because she will do her best to not let you win. Number 20, Manners and attitude make the person. So have good manners and have good attitude. 21, give credit and take the blame. 22, stand up to bullies and protect those who are bullied. 23, write down your dreams. This is another one of those things that I talk about a lot. You need to dream big. One of my mentors said, if your dreams are achievable, then you're not dreaming big enough. So dream big, dream large, something so big that you think you could never, ever attain or achieve that dream. And then go after it. If you set your sights high, you're going to aim a lot higher and you'll achieve a lot higher. I was talking to somebody a while back and they told me that I usually set low goals. That way I can, for sure achieve those goals and I don't have to suffer the disappointment of not achieving the goals. But imagine if you set huge, lofty goals, big dreams, and maybe you didn't achieve what you set for yourself, but you're 100 times better than if you had set something you thought you could do easily and wouldn't be disappointed in. So set high dreams and write them down. 24, add value wherever you go. Always ask yourself in every situation, in every conversation, whoever you're working with or spending time with, how can I add value to this person's life? Number 25, be confident and humble at the same time. Oftentimes, confidence, especially if it's a false confidence, comes across as pride. You can tell when the confidence is false, and it does not come with humility. So be confident and humble at the same time. Number 26, refuse to be ordinary. Live life large. Live to the fullest. Live for experiences. They say life is a journey, right? Life is a journey. But I always say the journey is not about the destination, but it's about getting there. It's about living it along the way. So life is meant to be lived. It's not about the end result. It's about what you do between, your birth date and your end date. It's about that dash, like Jack Spirko would say. Live your dash and make it the best dash possible. Live life to the fullest. Refuse to be ordinary. 27, change the world, but don't let it change you. Be who you are. Be who you are meant to be and use that to change the world. 28, keep your word, even if it means you lose something. I'll give a real quote, for instance on this one. Just this week, I gave a customer a quote and they accepted. And so we struck an agreement. I turned around and went to the hardware store and said, hey, look, I need to order those supplies that we talked about the other day on the quote you gave me. And the guy at the hardware store called me a few minutes later and is like, I messed up and the material it was going to cost me, like, cut into my profits about 25% because he messed up on quoting me the materials. Well, I can't turn around and go back to the customer and say, look, this is going to cost more than what we agreed on. So I have to keep my word, even though it's costing me something. So live life that way because people will respect you because of it. People will see that you have an integrity that is very uncommon. Keep your word, even if it means you lose something. 29, live within your means. If you don't have the money, don't spend it. Don't live on credit cards. There are instances where maybe it's worth it to live on credit cards. Maybe it's worth it to do some of those things, but those instances are rare and few and far between. For those of you who listen to Radical Personal Finance, you know some of the situations I'm talking about where Joshua Sheets was dealing with a client who was in the software business and they didn't have money coming in now, but they had a potential down the road to have a massive payoff when they sold the company. So his client was living on credit cards until he made the payoff of his company or sold off the company and he became a millionaire. So there might be times like that, but for the common ordinary person, live within your means, not on credit cards for sure. And number 30, last thing, remember to keep first things first. Kind of funny I put that one last, but that one is so key in life, to keep first things first. Do what's important. Do the right things. Spend time with your family. Keep your priorities straight. Those are the first things. Your kids, your wife, the people that are significant in your life, your friends, they won't always be there for you. And if you put other things ahead of those relationships, that's going to stick with them for the rest of their life. And you will get a return on that investment. If you invest negatively by putting less important things first, you'll receive negatively. But if you keep those relationships, those people first, keep them front, keep the first things first, you will reap a positive return on your investment. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed that. These are things that I love thinking about. I love deep thoughts. I love thinking about how to apply rules for life like this. I don't always live by them. It's always a work in progress, as it were. But if you're not working and moving forward, you're moving backwards. There is no standing still in life. So you always got to pushing forward, or you're going to be moving backwards. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts. I also wanted to say, last week's episode with Brent Bryant on overcoming substance abuse and mental health issues, that seemed to be a big hit. A lot of people listened to that one. That's only a week old, but it's one of my highest listened to episodes. So if you haven't listened to it yet, go listen to it and share it with a friend. He packed a lot of value into that episode, and he even went so far as to put his own personal phone number out. So somebody who is struggling with their own substance abuse issues or mental health from whatever it is that might have happened to them or the situations they're going through, he put his personal phone number out there so that they can call and he can talk them through it and offer solutions and help. So go listen to that episode and share it with a friend. I'd also love to hear your thoughts and your feedback on it. And also general feedback for the show. I love connecting with the audience. I'm just a common guy, same as most other people out there. I'm nothing special, not above average, but I love providing value to people. So I hope that these episodes do provide value. I want to invite you to connect with me on MeWe. I've got a group called the Constructive Liberty Podcast, and I'd love to have you join the group, join the discussion. I'm going to start having a chat on Wednesday mornings inside that Facebook group, just to connect with people, to see where you're at in life, what you're struggling with, what you're going through, or the wins you've had, because we're all moving along trying to create that lifestyle of freedom. That's what we ultimately want deep down inside. I know I want that, and I trust that you do as well. So with that, go out and do good work.